The DC Universe is at war once again, and it's up to you to save it. Check out the affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and oh shit, some news is breaking right now out of the Cannes Film Festival, where apparently Constantin Film's chairman of the board, Martin Moskowitz, is telling people that they are in fact getting ready to reboot the Resident Evil franchise. Didn't we just get the final chapter like 4 months ago? And to be honest with you, it was a better movie than the one before it. And it finished up Alice's story, kinda. But it still wasn't anything ultimately to write home about. It's one that I forgot that I even went to go see it. I enjoyed it when I thought back to it. But in the meantime, I was like, oh, okay. And the fifth one was just bad. The fifth one was a bridge from the fourth one to the last one. But it was just like, in the last movie, they basically forgot everything that happened. They changed direction. They changed canon. It was like, okay, there were story elements that you now kind of fucked up on. You know, it feels to me like this is like, it went from like Aliens to Alien 3, where they're like, well, it's been a few years. Fuck what storylines we left that off with. We're just going to kind of wrap it up. Except there was no wrap up in Alien, or in Resident Evil, the final chapter, for the storylines that were in the fifth movie. But the point is, they want to reboot it. Now, will this be Alice's story? No, probably not. Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed 4 of the 6 films and wrote all 6 films, starring his wife, that's my guess right now, is not going to be what it's going to be about. What I think it's going to be about is the fact that right around the same time as Resident Evil Final Chapter came out, Resident Evil 7 dropped on gamers, and gamers flocked to it. Gamers liked it. Gamers loved the new take on it. They loved the new approach. They liked that it was different. They liked that it played differently, which makes me believe that Resident Evil 7 is probably what's going to be the reboot of the Resident Evil franchise. Now, I haven't played 7, and I could be wrong, but I've heard it's almost like a setup game for some other stuff. Like it's kind of set apart from the RE franchise as a whole, but it kind of takes it back to its roots to an extent. I need to sit down and actually play it. I haven't yet, but I enjoyed the movies and I enjoy the concept of the game. And you can see where the movies and the games kind of started falling parallel for a while, because when the movies became more action-packed, like with 2004's Resident Evil Apocalypse, you could see the games started kind of going down that pathway, you know, of more action versus horror. And the games themselves got crazier, the movies themselves got crazier, and Resident Evil kind of became a huge bloated mess, not only film-wise, but game-wise. And so bringing it back to its roots is probably what's going to be the best for the franchise. And that does include keeping Paul W.S. Anderson out of it, I think. There's no word of his involvement right now. He's getting ready to shoot Monster Hunter. An adaptation of the Capcom game, which, given how he did things with Resident Evil, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of on board with that. I'm on board to see what he does with that, and I think that could be very interesting because that feels more up his style. Whereas Resident Evil, this reboot, should be more of like a very claustrophobic horror film, you know? Like Fede Alvarez, who did Don't Breathe, would, I think, be a perfect director to bring into that, but he's currently working on other stuff, and so I don't, you know, they're gonna have to get a good director that can do that kind of claustrophobic hallway horror type thing. And if they can do that, then, and with a good script and a good cast, as well as setting up the events for future films to come, because let's be fair here, this is going to become a franchise. You know, they're going to set up this long arc. I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna guess they're already going to be pushing for about a 6-film arc right off the bat. You know, all the Umbrella story, the T-virus, everything else involved with Umbrella Corporation. Hopefully, if they're, you know, if it was me, I would say let's just start with Resident Evil 4, tell the story of Leon Kennedy trying to save the president's daughter. Yeah, it feels a little bit like a horror version of Escape from New York, but fuck it. It was a great game. Great game. Great game. And I'd like to see them go with that kind of horror, you know, that kind of horror setting as well. Because I could still do the big over-the-top monsters that would come from Umbrella, but still tell that kind of, like, you know, Village of the Damned, Children of the Corn style approach, right? And that's just kind of what I take from that. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that rebooting it without Paul W.S. Anderson is going to be for the best? if there's a Resident Evil game you'd like to see them actually take an approach from, what do you think it would be? Actually, if I said Resident Evil 4, but I have another one I'd like to put in there. Resident Evil Code Veronica, I thought was a very well made, very well told game, and its story was pretty fucking crazy. So I'd like to see what they do with that in the meantime. But what do you guys think? Which Resident Evil would you like to see adapted, actually adapted? What kind of characters do you want to see come in? Who do you think would be good to direct it? And who don't you want anywhere near it? I'm guessing the answer is Paul W.S. Anderson. But go ahead and let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.